Hey guys, the first section for this last test, getting ready for test number 4, and then the final is after that. So there's the one test and then one more final. But this last section is actually something we've already done. It's inverses. If you remember back in chapter 4, we actually covered inverses. So this first section is just going to be a reminder. There's not going to be a lot of work involved in it. I just want to make sure that this is still fresh on your mind, because this will actually be on the quizzes and test for this section. I don't know if you noticed or not, but back when we did it in chapter 4, you were never graded or quizzed on inverses. Well, now you're going to be. So for inverses, if you'll remember, to do inverses, we always just swap the x's and y's. So to find the inverse of this, it would just be x equals 2y plus 3, and then solve for that y right there. You get that y by itself. So you subtract 3 from both sides, you get x minus 3 is equal to 2y, and then divide everything by 2. Divide both sides by 2. So x minus 3 over 2 is your new inverse, okay? So that would actually be the inverse for that. For this fella here, same thing. Remember, that's y equals. So when you swap the x's and y's, this would be x equals y to the third minus 8. You'd add the 8 to both sides. And then to get rid of that cube, you do the cube root of that side over there. So that'd be the cube root of x plus 8. And that would be y equals. Well, remember, we started with f of x equals. So when we write our answer, we put f to the negative 1. That means f inverse. This means this is the inverse of f, which is cube root of x plus 8. Okay? Remember, you can't take the cube root of 8 because it's attached with a plus sign or minus sign. You can't take the cube root of pieces with plus signs and minus signs. Okay? So that would actually be the inverse there. The third example is g of x equals x squared plus 4. There is no work involved with this problem because it has a squared, it has an even exponent. Even exponents with the leading exponent can't have an inverse function, because remember, here's the demonstration of what we did. X squared plus 4 is a parabola facing up. Looks like this, going through 4 right there. If you took the picture and spun it around and then rotated it 90 degrees that direction, the picture would then look something like this, and that is not a function. Then pass the pencil test, the horizontal line test. So anytime you see the highest exponent's an even number, x squared, x to the fourth, x to the sixth, anything like that, the inverse function does not exist. DNE, there's no inverse, however you want to say it, the inverse doesn't exist. There's no work involved there. And lastly, the last thing is if they give you a function or a relation where it's just a set of points, remember, all you're doing is swapping the x and the y's. So P inverse of x is 1, 2, 4, negative 3, and 0, negative 1. It's that simple.